Good afternoon. Matt Thomas here on this fine Sunday afternoon. Man, the weather was beautiful today. It was a blessing. I got to do some cooking for some folks. I got to spend some time with my dear brothers. I got to play kickball with my kids and play with a soccer ball. Got to eat dinner with the family. Got to learn how to love my wife a little bit better. I would say that's a success. I wanted to share something with you today that I read in my morning reading that was pretty impactful in my day, and it really helped set the pace for the day. So I want to share that with you guys if possible. I'm in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, and we're going to go verses 1 through 13. It says, working together with him, then we appeal to you not to receive the grace of God in vain. For he says, in a favorable time I listened to you, and in a day of salvation I have helped you. Behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. We put no obstacle in anyone's way, so that no fault may be found with our ministry. But as servants of God, we commend ourselves in every way, by great endurance in afflictions, hardships, calamities, beatings, imprisonments, riots, labors, sleepless nights, hunger, by purity, knowledge, patience, and kindness, the Holy Spirit, genuine love, by truthful speech and the power of God, with the weapons of righteousness for the right hand and for the left. Through honor and dishonor, through slander and praise, we are treated as impostors and yet are true, as unknown and yet well known, as dying and behold we live, as punished and yet not killed, as sorrowful yet always rejoicing, as poor yet making many rich, as having nothing yet possessing everything. We have spoken freely to you, Corinthians. Our heart is wide open. You are not restricted by us, but you are restricted in your own affections. In return, I speak as to children, widen your hearts also. So what got me, right, was in a favorable time, I have listened to you, and in the day of salvation, I have helped you. Today, right, repeatedly through the Bible, it talks about today is the day of salvation. And it's funny if you think about it in a timeline aspect, right? Like, so this was written over 2,000 or about 2,000 years ago, just under 2,000 years. So when you think about it like that, right, when he says today is the day of salvation, it is a present tense thing, but yet it is a present tense thing that covers pretty much all of the timeline. And so let's think of some other things that do that. The name of God, I am, right? I am, not I was, not I will be, but I am. I am is a consistent stream that runs straight across, that has no beginning and no end, right? So there's no bookends. It's I am. So today is the day of salvation. And if we think about that, right? If it was true back then, and if Paul is speaking on it, he is speaking on it clearly to make the point that as we read this, and as he was writing to the Corinthians, right, because they didn't read it the same day that he wrote it, but today is the day of salvation, right? Now is the day of salvation. We put no obstacle in anyone's way, so that no fault may be found with our ministry. But as servants of God, we commend ourselves in every way, by great endurance in afflictions, hardships, calamities, beating. Right, so Paul lists all these things that he had to go through and all these different trials that he had. And the fact is, brothers and sisters, we're going to have trials. And we're going to have times where we feel that everything around us is falling apart. And we're going to feel that, man, there's probably not an option and we don't know how we're going to pull out of it. But we are not the faint of heart. My buddy Bob Engel, Bob Engel has a signature on his email that says, not of those who shrink back. And that's who we are, brothers and sisters. It's okay to be scared. It's okay. It's okay to not know what's going to happen the next day. It's okay to wrestle with ourselves. It's okay to struggle, right? It's okay to, as long as we are pushing forward, right? Because the peace of God that passes all understanding through the pain and the hurt and the struggles and the troubles and the trials that we go through. The peace of God wouldn't be the peace of God if it didn't come in to the worst part of our lives and start chopping away at the roots that cause us to feel this way. And so I just wanted to share this with you. I think it was important that we take the time and we remember, right, that by purity, knowledge, patience, kindness, it's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit moves in us in such a manner that it is life-changing and that it changes the people around us. And so today, take this time and let's celebrate our salvation. Let's not receive the grace of God in vain, right? Let's not just take the grace of God and put it aside in a compartment that says we'll deal with this later. Or this is not, we've got to deal with this pandemic. Really, the grace of God should overshadow everything we do, right? It should protect us. It should provide cover for the rain. It should provide blocking the heat. It should keep us warm, and it should take care of us when nothing else is going to work, because that's who God is. Thanks, guys.